All right, I'm getting my last steroid today. Nurse came up big time. Thank you.
How did I end up here? Well, let's rewind 6 years ago. Yep, that's me, lying there in the hospital bed, looking rather lifeless. I'll tell you that my head felt like it weighed a ton. I couldn't move it. I couldn't see due to double vision. The right side of my body was numb. Even the right side of my tongue was numb. Needless to say, I was in pretty bad shape. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in January of 2015. And at the time, it was a devastating diagnosis. As I lay there, all I could think was that I was 35 in damaged goods. I thought that my life was over, but little did I know that it was just the beginning. See, God has a way of turning tragedy into triumph. But I'll get to that a little later. Fast forward to February 2021. See, I'd been planning to do this vlog on MS, but I wanted to wait until March because March is MS Awareness Month, hence the orange. But little did I know that I was going to have an attack. I hadn't had an attack or an episode in 6 years, not since my diagnosis, but that all changed a few weeks ago, and I found myself here.
Today is my first full day here in the hospital, receiving my treatment for my little flare-up. Today I got an MRI. They did my brain and my entire spine with and without contrast, so they had to do everything twice. And that took 2 hours and 40 minutes. I get out Monday. Today is Friday, so I have 2 more full days of treatment to do. I miss Bubs. I miss Mike too, but I miss Bubs more. I'm going to be here pretty much by myself.
So what exactly is multiple sclerosis? Simply put, it's an autoimmune disease that eats away at the protective covering of nerves in your brain and in your spine. The coating on our nerves is called myelin, and MS attacks and slowly eats the myelin, leaving our nerves exposed. It causes interference in the signals to and from our brains. And this whole action leaves scars or lesions on the brain. So multiple sclerosis literally means multiple lesions. They're always different. This time it was my legs. I experienced muscle weakness, spasms, tingling, and I had trouble walking.
My legs are starting to feel a little better. Yesterday, you want to reenact what the doctor did yesterday? Yesterday, he had my leg, and then I was supposed to hold it, and it just dropped straight through because they were so weak I couldn't even hold it up. But today, you see, I have a little bit more strength in them.
So in the hospital, treatment usually consists of an IV drip of some sort of steroid, and that's supposed to help the inflammation and ultimately stop the attack. There are 4 types of MS. The most common is relapse remitting. This is what I have. And basically it goes like this. Periodically you'll have an attack that increases your neurological symptoms. And these attacks are called relapses or exacerbations, followed by a recovery period or remission. And during that time, the symptoms are, for the most part, they go away. And I say, for the most part. Every time you have an attack, it definitely takes a little piece with it. Case in point or example, when I was diagnosed, I mentioned earlier that the right side of my tongue was numb. That never came back. It doesn't hurt, it's just uncomfortable. And so that's just something that I've lived with for 6 years now. And so with each attack, it just gnaws and takes little pieces of you physically. Recovery can take anywhere from 3 months to 12 months. It really depends on the severity of the attack. I'm still having a lot of weakness in my legs, still having trouble walking. That should get better over time, but you just never know how long it's gonna take. And so in the meantime, you know, you're trying to live, you're trying to work, you're trying to do business as usual, and you realize, or I'm realizing right now, that I can't. Numbness, tingling, headache, cognitive dysfunction, depression, speech and swallowing problems, breathing problems, fatigue. There are a whole lot of other symptoms that aren't even listed on this diagram. There is the MS hug, heat intolerance, night sweats, and then insomnia. I've had 80% of those symptoms listed at one point or another. Nearly 1 million people are living with MS in the United States. Diagnosis is usually between ages 20 and 50. And women are 3 times more likely to get diagnosed than men. MS is very specific to the individual, meaning no two people have the exact same symptoms. And in a way, it's like COVID-19. You know, these 4 people have COVID-19, but they all have different symptoms. What works for me may not work for somebody else. But there is a common denominator, and that is just unpredictability. MS is so unpredictable. You never know how you're gonna feel this day. You never know how you're gonna feel tomorrow. You wake up and it's like, surprise, which contributes to depression and anxiety. About 50% of people living with MS suffer from depression, and I am included in that 50%. MS for me is very isolating, very lonely, because it's not an outwardly disease. You can look great and feel awful. I personally don't talk about MS. The way I see it, everyone has their thing that they're dealing with, whether it's depression or a chronic illness or pain. Everybody's got their thing. And so this happens to be my thing. But support is key. And I was blessed to be able to join an MS support group that a friend of mine created. And just being able to speak to like-minded women who share similar experiences has really been a blessing. It's nice to be able to say, hey, are you experiencing this? I got this symptom. What do you do for this? So having a support system with any ailment, any disease is always a good idea. I am on medication. The medicine only slows down what is naturally a progressive disease that will get worse over time. Other than that, there's really no fix it. The doctors will tell you, get some rest, eat well, and stay hydrated. And that's pretty much it. And that's what I try to do. Diet is really important in managing MS. Autoimmune diseases really feed on inflammation. MS is no different. Meat and dairy and sugar just causes a lot of inflammation in my body. And when I remove those things from my diet, I feel better. Listening to your body is key, and accepting help. I lean on my husband, I lean on my mom, family and close friends, and if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be able to really function. So having a support system is just key to maintaining some sense of normalcy. When I got out the hospital this time, it was just an outpouring of just love that I received from friends and family. I had some friends that got dinner catered to us, and I got flowers and cards and texts and calls, and that makes a difference. You know, knowing that you have people praying for you, knowing that you have people in your corner, helps with the healing process. It helps with your, your mental health, your emotional health. I believe in the power of prayer. And so when I am not feeling good or I'm in a hospital, I'm telling people, because I want people praying for me. I want God to be like, oh, let me check on Asha, because I got all these requests. I can honestly say though that had it not been for my diagnosis, I wouldn't be where I am today. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form happy that I have MS, but I've come to realize that it doesn't define me. And it doesn't prohibit me from living a fulfilling life. If I wasn't diagnosed, then I probably wouldn't have quit teaching. And if I hadn't quit teaching, I wouldn't have become a mother. When you're diagnosed with a disease, it puts your entire life in perspective, right? You start examining every facet of your life. And you ask yourself, am I happy? Right? Am I really doing what God called me to do? Am I doing what I want to do? Am I fulfilled? It's time to start living. Life comes with so many uncertainties, and it's entirely too short to waste. In essence, I don't have time to waste time. So I'm okay with having MS if it means that I get to have all of this. If you made it to the end of this video, you're awesome, and I appreciate you watching and listening. Support the cause, wear your orange, donate, and if you know somebody with MS, go and give them a big hug and tell them that you love them. If you have questions or inquiries about something, leave me a little message in the comments section, and I'll be sure to answer any questions that you might have. For more information about multiple sclerosis, you can visit the National MS Society at www.nationalmssociety.org. And I'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep telling real stories.